What up, my nerds? I'm Ricardo, the roleplay gamer, and I like to party. So, we're taking a look at Mass Effect Andromeda character creation, and this is not going to be like your 20 to 30 minute affair. Apparently most people are doing as the leeches descend on the early access of Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh my god, I know, funny, need more beard. No, I just want to talk about character creation a little bit. So, of course there was a lot of discussion of like, oh shit, these faces look terrible, facial animations, good god, our characters were hit with the ugly stick. Look, I don't think it was to apocalyptic proportions. I think people blew it out of the water a little bit, but yeah, the faces look terrible. Well, they don't get much better when you customize them, buddy. Yeah, I'm surprised and quite disappointed here. So yeah, there's really not a lot of options. Straight off the bat, this is meant to be high graphic settings. It does not look like it. Everyone looks like sweaty plasticine. It's kind of fucked up. And there's really not much in the way of changing your face a whole lot, particularly the nose. I am of the opinion, and as a man with a strong Roman nose, that the nose frames the face, and it's a very important, perhaps one of the most important features on a face, and there's just really not much you can do with it, and that really disturbs me. I remember, being able to create my beautiful Roman nose in the original Mass Effect trilogy, and I can't do it here. And it's quite funny, actually, because even in Mass Effect 1, I remember being able to make a character that looks vaguely like myself and still not being fully satisfied, and hoping that they give you more options in later installments of character creation, later, the sequels of the game. And they've taken a step backwards. Honestly, after I'd recorded this footage, I was taken aback. I'm like, this can't be real. I had to go looking for other videos. I normally wouldn't have, because I don't care what other people say about it. I had to go looking for other videos just to make sure I hadn't missed something. If there was like a drop-down menu somewhere that gives you more options and I'm just like an idiot and missed it. But no. Another big issue, this is something that a lot of character creators in games do. Not enough hairstyles, or just weird hairstyles. Why can't we just have some long hair, If we've got an afro, an afro is a fairly big staple, fairly common staple, rather, of character creation, I find. Every game has a goddamn afro. If you're going to put in an afro, why can't we have some, like, long rocker hair? Of course I'm biased, because that's what I basically want to create myself. But I don't know. It just seems really weird to me. The beards, yes, I know I was making fun of people who like need more beard, but yeah, the beards are quite disappointing. We just got like a goatee, this weird fucking thing that I've chosen. I thought, at least I'll try to be different. No long beards, which I guess you can justify in that maybe it's against regulations or something. I don't know, still, the beards seem just really weird, and they don't look very good anyway. They look painted on, which of course, in a technical sense, I'm sure that's that's how they're made. Tattoos are kind of whack, and this could be a personal preference thing, but they look like they're trying to be very, like, futuristic digital, and it just seems weird. It's like, what, people don't get normal tattoos in the future? I don't know. So, I think I actually went with no tattoos, as is fairly common. But look, let's be honest. Which character creator, which game actually gives you good tattoo options? I've never seen one. So look, I don't want to make this video just like 10 minutes of me trashing character creation and jumping onto the circle jerk, the bandwagon of, oh, well, character creation is terrible, that must mean the whole game is terrible. Because I know, I can feel them, I can feel the fucking haters just winding up here. They're getting ready to descend on this shit. Look, I'm not going to speak to the rest of the game, because honestly, I haven't played it. I played the intro section, maybe the first hour, right up until you get to the Nexus. Not a big fan, but I'm fully expecting it to open up. But the bright side of this, of the character creator, is in the original Mass Effect trilogy, and this really vexed me. Whenever I customized my own Shepard, the dialogue animations, the lip syncing was just like whack to the point of like the lips almost turned in on themselves. It was really messed up. Clearly the lip syncing and the default character animations were not equipped to handle my particular face. But here it seems like the animations, the lip syncing for your main character, for Ryder, is a hell of a lot better. I was actually really surprised to see, once I'd taken my butt ugly character into the game, he started to look a little bit better, maybe because of the lighting, but also the animation. Now, they're not perfect, make no mistake. I know that was part of the issue that people had, why the faces looked ugly. And yeah, it's not amazing. But for those of you who are like wigging the fuck out looking at this, or you've gone through character creation yourself and haven't gone into the game yet, and you're really concerned that like, holy shit, I don't want my Ryder, my representation of myself in the Andromeda Galaxy to look like a fucking butt the whole time through this game of like, what? We don't know how long it is, but can we assume like minimum 20 hours? Is probably like, actually it's probably minimum 40. So for those of you who are concerned there, rest assured that yes, in character creation, in my opinion, is when your character looks the worst. Once you're in the game, things do improve a little bit. So as we get to the training selection portion of character creation, there's really nothing to this. It's just picking a starting ability and then you can change everything up, as you probably well know. So I'll just leave this here and you can pause if you like and read the descriptions. But let's just talk about a couple of niggling issues and my overall like really early impressions. And I probably won't mark this video as like first impressions or anything, because that's sort of disingenuous. Hey, I played an hour of the game, here's my opinion. It seems weird. But on the technical side of things, it doesn't feel like it's running very well at all. I will throw up the disclaimer that no, I have not put a frame counter on it, so I can't be 100% sure, but look, you can feel a low frame rate. On the bright side though, it doesn't seem to be fluctuating, it's just generally low. So I'd rather have a stable but low frame rate than a wildly fluctuating one, because fluctuating ones, that's become really hard to control, because you're expecting one speed that ends up being another. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, while I haven't put up a frame counter because I've got limited time with this early access, it's only 10 hours, so I'm kind of like budgeting my time of the footage I want to record. If I do end up, putting up a frame counter and testing this stuff more, I will let you know. But performance issues are so varied, it's almost not even worth it, unfortunately. But for those who are interested, I was initially running it at 2560 by 1080, which of course is an ultra wide resolution, which we'll talk about the ultra wide support in a second. And it was not a very fantastic experience, possibly made worse by the fact that there's a motion blur that, as far as I can tell, can't be turned off. Look, I'm sure you can turn motion blur off, or at least set the quality to lower, but there's no option that just says motion blur. It's probably lumped in with something else, which is a shame. But the reason I mention motion blur is because, in my opinion, it can make a low frame rate feel even worse. Like it gives you the perception of the game being, more sluggish than it actually is. So I had to actually not just lower the resolution, and I'm talking to sub 1080p, 16 by 9. I not only had to lower the resolution, but I had to turn down some graphics options. So I've dropped the anti-aliasing to FXAA and the HDB, the ambient occlusion, whatever they're calling the ambient occlusion these days. I think I just turned that off, which is unfortunate because I do like some ambient occlusion. But that seemed to fix it up, reasonably well. But I did have to play it like 1600 by 900, which is fine for recording, but otherwise it's not fantastic. So just to be thorough here, I've got an i7 6700, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and an R9 390 AMD graphics card with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. In other news, it seems to fully support 21:9, which is fantastic. The exception being the cutscenes, as I'm sure you saw earlier in the video. It has black bars on the side, which, you know, is not the end of the world. It's better than zooming in the image and cropping it and losing information at the top and bottom. In a related issue, however, it is kind of a pain in the ass to get it to play in windowed mode. You can select windowed mode, but it does that draggable, like you're meant to maximize it to the full screen resolution, but you can see the taskbar at the bottom kind of deal, which if I had a 16:9 monitor, or I just wanted to play on my own, I didn't care about recording it, you know, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But as someone who records game footage on a 21:9 monitor, that is kind of infuriating. I wish we could just have a set window, like let us go window mode and then select a resolution. That would be fantastic, guys. why can we not do this? It's in IMO, it's the best option. But you know, so just keep that in mind if you are rocking 21:9 and you decide, actually no, I want to play this at 16:9. The game doesn't really want to cooperate. So there you go, my nerds. Character creation is a bitter disappointment. 21:9 support is surprisingly good. I actually wasn't expecting any support for 21:9 at all. But unfortunately, windowed mode could use some work. Thank you very much for watching. Taste the game, be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time.